Hello and welcome back to Mermaid Crocheted. This is Momma Mermaid. In today's video, we'll be making this darling pair of gingerbread fingerless gloves. For this pattern today, we'll be using a 4.5mm crochet hook, a yarn needle, some scissors, a white yarn, a green yarn, a brown yarn, a red yarn. The first thing we'll be making today is our peppermint cuff for our gloves. So we're going to take our white yarn and we're going to make a slip knot. To do that, we are going to wrap our yarn around our fingers and hold the tail under your finger. Insert your hook under and then over the back loop and pull through. And you can pull your fingers out and tighten by pulling your yarn. Great, and then we're going to make a chain of 5. So yarn over, pull through. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we'll be going into the second chain from the hook. So not this first bump, but this second one. We're going to go into that bump, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through both loops on your hook. Again, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through both loops on your hook. Once more, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through both loops on your hook. For the fourth and final chain, we'll be starting it as usual. So go in, pull up a loop, but instead of yarning over with our white yarn, we are now going to do our first color change. And if you've never done a color change before, don't be intimidated. It's quite simple. So we'll be attaching with our red yarn, and I'm going to make a little loop and hold it with my fingers and place it on my hook, and then we'll complete this single crochet by pulling through with our red yarn. Okay, and then chain 1. And I like to secure my color changes by tying it down. Often when we're working with color changes in a pattern, we're going to carry the color that we're not using. We're going to carry it over with us as we crochet. And to do that, you're just going to grab the color you're not using at the moment. We're going to place it next to the stitch we're going into. So we're going to be working into the back loop only. It's a V here. This is the front loop, and this is the back loop. So we're going to go into the back loop. And as we go in, we're just going to make sure that the white yarn is right next to our loop. Pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through both loops on your hook. And as you can see, we've carried this white yarn over to the next stitch. So we're going to repeat that. Go into the back loop, My white yarn is also over my hook. Pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through both loops into the third, go into the back loop, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through both loops. And this is the fourth and final stitch of this row. So we'll be doing a color change. So we'll go into the back loop and start it as normal. Pull up a loop. And then instead of yarning over with our red yarn, I'm going to drop this color, pick up my white, yarn over, pull through both loops on the hook, and chain one. We'll turn our work. Again, we're going into the back loops. So go into the back loop, then we're gonna make sure our red is placed over our hook also next to that back loop so we can carry it with us. Pull up our white, yarn over and pull through both loops on your hook. Go into the next back loop, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through both loops. Into the back loop, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through both loops. And here we've reached the final and fourth stitch of this row. So we're going to go into the back loop, pull up a loop, and then instead of yarning over with my white, I'm going to drop my white and pick up my red, yarn over with my red, and pull through both loops. Chain one and turn our work. We're going to continue working into the back loops only for the first 3 stitches. Then on the 4th stitch, we'll do our color change. Chain one, turn our work, and then make another row with the opposite color. We're going to continue working this pattern until your cuff is the correct length to fit around your wrist. So continue working this pattern and I will meet you up when my peppermint cuff is long enough. So far I have 21 rows of my peppermint cuff. I'm going to be ending my cuff with a row of red because I started with a row of white. So before I complete my row of red, when I get to the end of my white row, I'm going to color change as I normally would, but then I'm going to tie my white and cut it before I begin my final red row. Okay, I'll hold in place. And we'll chain one, turn our work. We're gonna carry this white yarn as we normally would. So into the back loop, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through. In each stitch across, and this final stitch will be red. We're going to chain one, and when you have the length you like, just double check and make sure. You can also choose which side of your peppermint cuff you would like to be more dominant in color. This one's more dominantly red and this one's more dominantly white. I really like this color or this side the best. Once you've finished your final row, you're going to fold your work in half and we're going to join both ends together with a slip stitch row. So I'm finding my first single crochet stitch. If my camera will focus. There we go. Okay, so we're going into this first stitch and then we're finding its counterpart on the other side, which is this one here. Let's go right under that single crochet. We're going to pull through the back single crochet and pull through the front single crochet and then through that chain we made. Okay, we're going to do this in every stitch across. Go under the single crochet, find its counterpart in the back, pull through both single crochets and then through the loop on your hook. Last one. Pull through and through. Okay, now we're going to chain one and fasten off see it's stretchy, cute peppermint cuff. So go ahead and snip your red yarn. Pull this through. Okay, and because I carried my white over on that final row, it's already, the tail is already sewn in, so I'm just going to snip that here. This right here is where we fastened off, so I'm going to tuck that so you can see better. I'm going to insert my hook right where we fastened off with our red. Get your brown gingerbread colored yarn, make a little loop and kind of hold it in place and place it on your hook. Pull that through. Chain one. Okay, and we're going to begin on round one. We'll be placing one single crochet into the top of every row of our peppermint cuff. This is our next row, so we're going to insert our hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through both loops. We're crocheting over the tops of these tails. We're just laying them on top of our stitches that we're going into and crocheting as we normally would. So continue placing one single crochet in the top of every row of our cuff until we've reached the beginning single crochet. Okay, I've reached the last single crochet. We're going to join our final stitch with our very first single crochet. So this here is our chain 1. This is our chain 1. This is our first single crochet. You can see the V. So that's the one we're going to slip stitch into. Okay, now for round 2, we're going to chain up 1 and 2, and in this same first single crochet that we just slip stitched into, we're going to work a half double crochet. And how you do a half double crochet is you yarn over, go into your stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops into the next stitch, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops. We're going to continue this entire row working 1 half double crochet into every stitch around. I'll meet you for round 3. All right, I've reached the final half double crochet of the round. To our final half double crochet, we'll follow our chain 2 to the first half double crochet and insert our hook, pull through, and pull through. Okay, round 3 is going to be another half double crochet round. 2, 1, 2, into this first half double crochet, place a half double crochet, another in the next. Continue to half double crochet into every stitch around. We've reached round 4, so chain 2. On this round, we'll be putting 1 half double crochet in the back loop only of every stitch around. And we got good at working into the back stitch with our cuff rows. So the back loop only. Keep working half double crochets into every stitch. Back loop only all the way around. And what we're creating is a little shelf to place our frosting ruffles later. continue working 1/2 double crochet into the back loop only of every stitch, and I'll meet up with you for row 5. This is my final back loop only 1/2 double crochet for row 4, and I'm going to slip stitch into the first 1/2 double crochet. So insert your hook, and this will be our first color change of the glove portion. So go ahead and drop your brown. We'll be attaching our green. You're going to complete this slip stitch with your green. Chain 1, tie to secure. All right, we've already chained 1, so now we're going to chain a second chain. So here, we're going to work a puff stitch. To do this, we're going to yarn over, insert our hook, pull up a loop. That's 1, yarn over, insert our hook, pull up a loop. 2, yarn over, insert our hook, pull up a loop. That's 3, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop. That's 4, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop. That's 5 times we're going to do that. We will yarn over and pull through all the loops on our hook. Then you'll yarn over again and pull through. Then you'll yarn over and make a chain. Okay. And now we're going to skip the next stitch and make another puff stitch in the next stitch. So yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, 2, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, 3, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, 4, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, 5, yarn over, pull through all the loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through, and chain 1, skip the next stitch and work a puff stitch into the next. Yarn over, go in, pull up a loop. That's 1, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop. That's 2, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop. That's 3, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop. That's 4, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop. That's 5, yarn over and pull through all the loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through, chain 1, skip the next stitch and make a puff stitch into the next stitch. We're going to continue this pattern all the way around for row 5. I'll meet you back here to move on to row 6. I have enough stitches left to place 1 more puff stitch for round 5. We just made 1 here, skipping the next stitch and going in here. So yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, 2, 3, and 5, yarn over, pull through all the loops, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Now we're going to slip stitch in right here where we secured the puff stitch. This will be where we slip stitch, but we're also going to pick up our brown color. So we're going to insert our hook and drop our green, pick up our brown, pull through, and pull through. I'm going to chain 2. Round 6. We've chained 2. Now we're going to work 1/2 double crochet into the top of this first puff stitch. So yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 3. Then we'll work a 1/2 double crochet right into this chain space. So yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. Great. And then we'll work a 1/2 double crochet into the top of the next puff stitch. And a 1/2 double crochet into the chain space. We're going to continue this pattern all the way around. 1/2 double crochet into the top of the puff stitch, 1/2 double crochet into the chain space, and I will meet you back up for row 7. Okay, I've reached the end of row 6. I'm going to put one more 1/2 double crochet in that last chain space and slip stitch to the first 1/2 double crochet to join. Chain 2. Row 7. We are going to put a 1/2 double crochet into every stitch around. Continue working 1/2 double crochet into every stitch around for round 7, and I will meet back up with you for round 8. For round 8, we'll chain 2. Round 8 will be a 1/2 double crochet into the back loop only row. So we'll yarn over, go into the back loop, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops, yarn over, go into the back loop, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Continue working 1/2 double crochet into the back loop only of every stitch for round 8. Okay, working my last stitch for round 8 and finding the first stitch to join. Instead of yarning over with brown, we'll do another color change. Now we're going to color change to our red yarn. So make a loop with your fingers, place it on the hook, and pull through and through and secure. And we'll chain up 2 with our red. Round 9 will be another gumdrop row, our puff stitches. So we yarn over, go into this first stitch and pull up a loop, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, that's 2, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, that's 3, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, 4, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, 5, yarn over and pull through all loops on your hook, including our chain, yarn over, pull through, and chain 1, skip the next stitch, and go into the next stitch with another puff stitch. Yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, 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 yarn over and pull through all loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through, and chain 1. Continue working 1 puff stitch and a chain 1, skip a stitch, 1 puff stitch and a chain 1, skip a stitch, all around round 9, and I'll meet you back up for round 10. Okay, and then we'll slip stitch to the top of this very first puff stitch. And instead of pulling through with red, we're going to pick up our brown and pull through and through, chain 2. Round 10, we will be placing a half double crochet into the top of every puff stitch, and into every chain 1. So this is the pattern for round 10. Just continue to work 1 half double crochet into the top of every puff stitch and every chain 1 space. I'm joining at the end of round 10. For round 11, we're going to be creating our thumb hole. So we're going to chain 2. We'll half double crochet into the first 2 stitches, 1 and 2. Then we are going to chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then we are going to skip 5 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll be attaching with a half double crochet in the 6th stitch right here. So just go in and work a half double crochet, and then continue working a half double crochet stitch into every stitch around for the remainder of round 11. Okay, we've reached round 12. So we're going to chain 2, 1, 2. We'll work a half double crochet in the back loop only of these first 2 half double crochets we made in the last round. We'll be crocheting 5 half double crochets into this chain space. Okay, and then we'll continue on placing 1/2 double crochet into the back loop only of every stitch around. I've reached my join for round 12. We're going to begin it like normal. So we'll go into the top of this 1/2 double crochet for a slip stitch, and then we will drop our brown and pick up our green and complete our slip stitch with green, and go ahead and secure this green in place. Okay, and then chain 2. Round 13 will be another gumdrop round, so we'll be working a puff stitch into this first stitch, yarn over, go in and pull up a loop, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, that's 4, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, that's 5. So we yarn over and pull through all the loops, yarn over, pull through, and chain 1. Skip the next stitch and go into the next with a puff stitch. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yarn over, pull through all the loops. Yarn over, pull through, and chain 1. We're going to continue this pattern of a puff stitch, chain 1, skip a stitch, and a puff stitch into the next, all the way around for round 13. Now we'll attach to the top of this very first puff stitch. We'll drop the green, pick up the brown, complete this slip stitch join with our brown yarn, and chain 2. We're going to work 1/2 double crochet into the top of every puff stitch, and 1/2 double crochet into the chain 1 space. Again, 1/2 double crochet into the top of our puff stitch, and 1/2 double crochet into every chain 1 space. And we'll continue this pattern all around round 14. For round 15, we'll chain 2 and work 1/2 double crochet into every stitch around. I've reached the join. This will be a color change round. So we'll go in like normal and we'll complete the slip stitch with our red. Chain up 2. This will be another gumdrop round, so we'll be working a puff stitch into the first, chain 1, skip the next, puff stitch into the next, yarn through all the loops, yarn over, pull through, chain 1, skip the next, puff stitch into the next, continue this pattern, and I'll meet back up with you for row 18. Just finished row 17, and now we'll be slip stitching to the first puff stitch. And before I complete this slip stitch with my brown yarn, I'm going to secure my red yarn so that I can crochet over the tails. Okay, completing the slip stitch with my brown yarn. We'll chain 2, and work 1/2 double crochet into the top of our puff stitches, and 1/2 double crochet into our chain 1 space, and keep doing this all the way around. All right, I've made it to the join. I'll now be completing this slip stitch with our white yarn and securing and then we can cut our brown yarn. We're all done with our brown. Chain 1 and work 3 single crochets into every stitch around. So go in, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through. Here's our second single crochet and our third. We'll continue working 3 single crochets into every stitch around. I'm approaching the end of our last round. Chain 1 and we'll fasten off. Yay! Okay, now we're going to work on our frosting ruffles. For our frosting ruffles, everywhere that you created this shelf by crocheting in the back loop only, we're going to crochet our frosting ruffles. You could really attach them anywhere along this row, but I like to keep all my beginnings and endings together. So you're going to insert your hook into one of these front loops, grab your white yarn and pull through, chain 1, and tie this to secure. Okay, and then chain up 1 more. That will count as our first stitch. We're going to put 2 more half double crochets into the same stitch that we attached to. And it may be easier if we kind of bend our work so these front loops stick out. We can see them easier, get into them easier. So into the next front loop, we'll work in 3 half double crochets. And we'll continue working 3 half double crochets into every front loop stitch for this round. And into the next 3 half double crochets. We'll continue working 3 half double crochets into every front loop for this round. Okay, I've come to the final front loop of this row. I'm working in my last 3 half double crochets, and then I will slip stitch to join, chain 1, and fasten off. For the next ruffle round, I will be attaching to this stitch in our thumb space, and I'll be attaching right here in this space above the first front loop that we see. So when we do our ruffle stitches around the thumb space and meet back up, we can continue on with the next frosting ruffle round. So go right into this space. Next to the front loop, chain 1, chain 2, and I'm going to secure this white. And you can either crochet over the top of this tail, or you can sew it in later. So we're gonna work 3 half double crochets into this space. And then this next part is where we crocheted over our chains, and we're gonna just place our half double crochets in between our gingerbread half double crochets. So find your stitches and go right in between there and work 3 half double crochets. Okay, and in between the next 2. And in between the next 2. In between here, Okay, and then in these two spaces, these two rows here, we'll place 3 half double crochets. Now that we've reached our stitches, they're fairly easy to see where we're going next. Continue working 3 half double crochets into every stitch of our thumb space, and I will meet back up with you when I'm at my last stitch. Okay, when you've worked in your last half double crochet of our thumb space, you'll slip stitch to join, and we will slip stitch to the first front loop, chain up 2, and work 3 half double crochets into that first front loop, 3 into the next, continue working 3 half double crochets into every front loop of this round. When you get to the final front loop, we're going to just slip stitch into our thumb row, and that's where we'll chain 1 and fasten off for this ruffle row. Okay. So we have 2 more ruffle rows to go. I'll be attaching here at the join. Insert your hook and pull up a loop, chain 2. This is how you'll join the next ruffle row as well. And into the front loop, we'll work 3 half double crochets, and into the next front loop. We'll continue working 3 half double crochets in every front loop around for this ruffle row and this one, and I will meet back up with you to put a ruffle row on our peppermint cuff. Okay, we've made it to the final row of our gingerbread gloves. We'll attach our white yarn, chain 2, and we'll work 3 half double crochets into the top of each of our peppermint cuff rows. Continue working 3 half double crochets into the top of every row of our peppermint cuff. And I will meet up with you when it's time to sew in all of our tails. All right, I've just slip stitched. Let's chain 1 and fasten off together. Yay! gonna sew in all our tails. Just in case you've never sewn in your ends before, thought I'd do one with you. So grab one of your tails and your yarn needle, and we're going to insert our needle and kind of just hide the yarn between our stitches. When I say between, I mean in the middle of our yarn, so it's not really visible front or back, kind of as if we had crocheted over the top of them. And then once you're happy with where you've sewn it in and you're sure it's not going to sneak out, you can pull away your needle and cut your yarn. There we go. All right, I'll meet back up with you when I get all my tails sewn in. Just repeat the pattern for your second one. Let's try them on. Ah, they're so cute. I hope you've enjoyed making this pattern with me. Thank you so much for crocheting with me today. And happy holidays. I'll see you next time.